Hello and welcome. I'm Master Lama Rasaji, and this is our Thursday edition of Rasaji Speaks. Don't forget, there's no PFL today, and nor is there evening class with Master David. We're all at the tour. I want to remind all teachers and people who are thinking about or considering being teachers that there is a 3 o'clock special training today on the tour from 3 to 5 with Master David and Lama G. There's usually some snacks and drinks and stuff, and it's a good way, I feel like, to start off the tour. And of course, in the morning, there's a 10 o'clock class open to the public in the Melbourne area. So we're real excited. Hope that you're tuned in to the tour and you're either coming or you're live streaming with us. Today's subject matter is still focused around PFL, and it says budgeting for brilliance, strategies for success. It's a funny thing. I'm not a bookkeeping person. I was resistant to keep a budget for many, many years. Mama G's always going to be honest with you. Like overcoming poverty and overcoming disease, I've had to overcome organization and budgeting, right? Just recently met with my accountants to put in W-9s. She's been working with me for 12 years. And I think, she went from receipts in a shoebox to, God, you've learned so much in 12 years. And I said, well, I love being a student, but I got to tell you, her name is Vera, and she's a beautiful soul, 74 years old, been hitting it for about 45 years, master accountant in charge of oversees 4 H&R blocks in North Florida. So she's a mess. She's about an inch or two taller than me, and she's a firecracker, but she's forgotten more about IRS regulations and everything that you can imagine. But over the years, every year I listened to her. I allowed her to mentor me. And I know today, whether I like it or don't like it, the success that we have seen in the last 12 years, Mita and me, well, bookkeeping had to do with it. It's not my passion by any sense of the means, but I can go all the way back decades ago when I was working with my father, earning some money to go overseas, 2 different times to Tibet and also to India. And I worked in 2 different parts of his business. And today, more than ever, it makes sense. For good 6 months or longer, I worked in quality control with him, inspecting things. Also, I worked in accounts payable and accounts receivables. And today I have set up the 2 basic accounts. One account is receiving the flow of currency in, the other one we write bills with and keep it. And because I have now over a 40-year history of writing things down, when you learn to write things down and you begin to organize your feng shui envelopes, organize your bank accounts, little by little, everything that I've learned has been spilled off in the last 12 to 40 years. And I continue to learn, and Brother Nate, you need to do QuickBooks, Lama G. And I said, yeah, well, I'm looking at that, but I'm so old school. I love to write things down. See, we know that reading with parsimony stimulates 30% more neurons in the brain than reading on electronic devices, from cell phones to Kindles to laptops, everything. I kind of guess I feel that way. I feel probably more in control, definitely more focused and more grounded by doing it old school. I could see doing it with hard copy and doing this off, even with our investors, right? I've written down everything. I have backup. Internet can go down. As a matter of fact, recently I have both of my services. That's right. I have two services because I'm a podcaster by career, by nature. Got to be up. But during the holidays in the triple yin, there was about 24 hours that both systems were down. As I'm recording, still one of my system is not up, should be the week of the tour. But thank God that I have two, or I wouldn't be making this broadcast right now. So being organized and understanding where things are going and the directions that they're traveling is basically you're poising yourself for success. A good mentor of mine told me a long time ago, write things down and they will multiply. What you measure will multiply. If you don't measure, it won't multiply, right? I can go daily and look at my daily task envelope, what I'm supposed to do, those 10 to 20 plus things that got to get done today. A couple of them are things I do daily, weekly, and then about half of them are really geared for this day because I don't have the same appointments every day, neither do you. But in the past week, sitting down and looking at the 1099s, part of me is like, oh my God, here we go again. I'm back on a calculator, right? And it's so funny because it's amazing how fast I've gotten on a calculator. I mean, almost without even seeing it. And I'm using my cell phone. Don't use, but I can remember the old day that a punch a calculator, the receipt would come up. Remember that? Heck, I took typewriting class in high school, learned to type without looking. And it was a manual typewriter that you still slid the register across with the silver handle, right? It's wild what we've seen happen, right? In electronics and how fancy typewriters are today. Most people's typewriters are their computers. Half the time, mine's my cell phone or smartphone. It's really interesting to watch evolution evolve, you know? Remember, when evolution meets spirituality, magic happens. When evolution meets spirituality, magic happens. You don't have to think the way Darwin thought and think that we came from monkeys, though I do believe monkeys are our friends. And I believe there's a lot of similarities between those mammals and humans. But, and of course, being a monkey and having the Hanuman spirit, I'm obviously partial to monkeys. But it is true. And quantum physics is involved in that evolution. And it is true that species does evolve, which is what evolution means, evolve, evolution, evolution. And when spirituality meets, man, real magic happens. It's kind of like you do the standing exercises, and then you do the intuitive iron shirt qigong. But when you do them both religiously, week in and week out, magic happens. So a lot of the mundane tasks that we call mundane, it's really kind of like karma yoga, action yoga. We can focus on breathing. We can focus on focus. But there is definitely a connection, that chicken and egg connection. where you don't really honestly know what came first, but what you profoundly know is there's a relationship there somewhere. And today I got to say, learning to keep a budget. And now that that budget's in the millions, it's a good idea that I learned how to do that, don't you think? It's a good idea that I learned how to invest money consciously, to spend money consciously, to make money consciously with passion, manage money, which is the big one of all of them. Most people can't manage a budget of 5,000, 10,000 a month. When you have to manage millions of dollars a month, you better be prepared. You better be conscious, and you better know how to cross your T and dot that I, and you damn sure better know how to use a calculator. This is Llama G looking to hug everyone that's coming to the tour. I'm stoked up. We've arrived. It's 25, and we're in the first week of the tour. And I'll be with you tomorrow, Shangri-La's edition of Rasaji Speaks. And as we say in Tibet, Baraka Bashai. May the blessings be to you and your glorious family. See you tomorrow. Take care. God bless you all.